Hi guys, welcome to Before 30. My name is George. This is a platform where we feature the young, the vibrant, and the amazingly talented persons who are doing well in their chosen fields, career, and profession. Today on the show, I have with me a lady who is passionate about her work. She is a fashion entrepreneur and a fashion consultant. She owns a fashion organization that helps fashion entrepreneurs, emerging fashion entrepreneurs, plan their fashion business and of course take it to a higher level. Her name is Rhoda Aguonigho, and in a moment I'll be talking to Rhoda. So please stay tuned. This is Before 30. Hi guys, welcome back to Before 30. My name is George. And I told you guys that I have someone with me today who I'm going to be talking to. She is a lady who is passionate about what she does. She is very passionate about it. I already told you she is a fashion entrepreneur and a consultant. She works with brands, to develop their brands and basically teach them how to run their fashion businesses. And she's been amazing at it. Today I have with me Rhoda Aguonigho.
Hi, George.
It's great to have you here Before 30.
Yeah, that's a very nice introduction. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So how have you been?
I've been good. I've been great.
Awesome. And how's work? How's it been really with you?
I think it's been, I like to call it a journey. It's been a journey and it's still a journey, but so far so good. It's been amazing.
Great. All right, so let's get to it. You are a cultural and creative industry advocate. Can you shed more light on it? Because to me it sounds like Oyibo.
Okay, so cultural and creative advocate. Like I said, it's been a journey, and I feel like it's one thing that I just even started to settle into.
Okay.
So the fashion industry, the creative industry is more of my focus. When it comes to the cultural and creative advocacy. But what that really means is that I'm just an advocate for pushing the culture we have here, contemporary culture, contemporary creativity. So the arts, the people, the talent, and for me, any channel that I get to push that out, push to make sure that whatever it is that we're pushing out is very original, to our culture, to the creatives in the industry, in this part of the world, I'm all up for it. And I've been able to do that via different mediums, one of which is Lhaude. So that's really what the cultural and creative advocacy just means. It's more like an ambassador for pushing the African culture, pushing African creatives, bringing more visibility, more sales, and just all of that.
Amazing.
I don't know if does that make you more?
Yeah, of course. It breaks it down.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And if you're a fashion entrepreneur, please, here's Rhoda. Reach out to her. Okay, so moving on. At what point did you discover that this is something you want to do?
Okay. So I would say that my journey in the fashion industry has been a very interesting one, because when I was way younger, I don't think I really thought about fashion. I was more into media.
Okay.
So even when I was in school, I used to work at radio stations, or I did things with radio. So that was my direction. Yes. Yeah. But I remember that after school, I'd gone to do pre-degree, and by that time, beyond media, I just found fashion as a means of expression. So I used to watch a lot of Spice TV and video fashion, and I just look at these things and watch the celebrities and their style, but I didn't pay so much attention to it. It was more of looking at it and me thinking of the outfit that I'm going to wear, not necessarily as an industry that I want to work in.
Okay.
But after I finished pre-degree, because I went to Obafemi Awolowo University, there was this 9-month strike.
Okay.
So I was in my house, and it became a thing of what you want to do. You can't just be in the house and all of that. I think I want to learn tailoring, and that for me was my entrance into the fashion industry. So beyond learning tailoring practically, I also just started to research on designers. At that time, I had a post Odu, Larry da Silva. That was the things that sparked my interest. In the fashion industry, and I kind of grew. So I don't know if at that time it came to me that this is what I want to do, but for me it was just an entrance. And as I started to grow into that, I just started to, maybe 2-3 years after that was when I was like, I'm staying on this path. I'm staying on this path and I'm making something out of it. So let's say maybe 2016-ish was when I was like, okay, I want to do this, I want to make something out of this industry. I want to push something. And that was the time that the idea to start Lhaude came out, you know. So that I would say that was like it for me, because even before then I'd learned tailoring, but when I got into school I was like, this tailoring thing is a lot of work. It requires a lot of money, because you want to buy a machine, you want to buy materials, and you're just growing, nobody's sponsoring at that time. So like, you know, instead of doing tailoring and design, let me do styling. So I started styling, writing, editing, and I just grew in the industry. I feel like I've done so many things in the industry.
You really have done so much.
I've actually like played different roles in the industry, but I think it was 2016 that it just got solidified in my heart that, you know what, this is an industry that I want to stay in, and I just don't want to stay in this industry. I want to create change in this industry. Yeah, and that was also when the idea for Lhaude, you know, came up. So
Amazing, well done. Now let's focus on Lhaude.
Okay.
You run Lhaude, it's a fashion network, right?
Okay, so Lhaude is a fashion organization that creates opportunities for emerging fashion entrepreneurs in Africa. So our focus is fashion startups in Africa. So it's more like a venture platform and hub for fashion creatives to grow, to connect, and to create.
Amazing. And you have heads fashion designers around Nigeria.
Yes.
Tell us about some of
Okay, so when we first started Lhaude, I was still in school at that time, and it was because I mean, I was pushing my career as a writer, as a fashion enthusiast, and I realized that I schooled in OAU, which is in Ife, Osun State. I realized that it was hard to access opportunities once you're not in Lagos and once you're not in certain circles. You know, and I also realized that even in OAU where I was, there were a lot of other people. Like I had a couple of people who were models, there were a few models. I had a couple of people who were stylists, designers, but everybody was just kind of on their own. And I'm like, guys, what if we come together, collaborate, create magic in our own locality here? And what if these opportunities are not just for people in Lagos? If we bring it down and all of that, you know, that was really how Lhaude started. So initially it was about collaborating and creating opportunities, but we've grown over the years. And some of the things that we've done, I mean, in 2017 we had our first ever networking cocktail session, you know, in Ile-Ife. Then we had styling Fidel come from Lagos. We also had someone known who is a designer, so they were our guests. You know, they came to Lagos. The designers, the fashion enthusiasts in Ife at that time connected with them, and you know, that's really what Lhaude is about: creating opportunities, creating mediums for entrepreneurs to grow. And I mean, we've grown. So beyond just collaboration, now we're an organization. We're saying, you know, you know, everything that you need to run your business and run a successful fashion business, we want to equip you with it. You know, so through that we have different initiatives. We currently, one of our initiatives is the LEAP project that was launched this year, which is like an 8-week incubator program for fashion startups. So it's like, you know, in-class, intense training. We have professionals, not just fashion professionals, because I realized that that's another mistake that we make. We need to collaborate with other industries. You know, beyond saying you're a creative, you need to speak to people who are in finance. You need to speak to people who are PR gurus. You know, so our curriculum and our faculty is not just like fashion creatives. You know, we have people who are in PR who come and teach. We have people in business. So the curriculum is very robust. It's like an intensive program, and at the end of the program, the participants get to pitch their businesses. And I mean, this last one we had top three finalists, and we got like prizes worth 200,000 naira. And you know, we're currently working on the next one, which is going to be happening next year. And one of the things that we have in the works is that, you know, after this intense grading and teaching them, and they pitch, they're not just getting prizes, but they're also going to get mini grants for their business. So that's one. That's the Lhaude mentorship, Lhaude, the LEAP project. Sorry. Another one is the Creative Haven, which is a digital. So this one speaks to our collaboration and connecting. It's a digital community for creatives. So we currently have almost 200 creatives across Nigeria on that community, where every week we're sharing opportunities. We have monthly community sessions where we have like professionals just speak on different things. So the last community session we had was on marketing and using social media, and it was so amazing because the people in the community are starting to see results in their businesses. So it's just like it's a digital community where we share opportunities, people collaborate, people bond. You know, it's a place, it's a safe space for creatives. You know, another initiative we have is the Lhaude mentorship scheme, which is where we pair a select few entrepreneurs with professionals in this. We have a system for selection, and it runs for 3 months. So you are attached to this person who has done, you know, who has accomplished things in the industry. All your questions, they mentor you, they take you through a process for 3 months. Yes. So, and then I think another initiative we have is the open house, Lhaude open house, which is, you know, especially with the pandemic, where a lot of things started to become digital and in their house and in different places, and the community caters to that. But we also feel like it's important to connect physically. It's important to come together, have fun. So that's what Lhaude Open House is. It's yearly. It happens at the end of every year, and it's like a get together. We all come together. We speak. We have fun. We do vision boarding for the next year. And for this year's edition, we're looking at bringing a successful fashion expert who will also it's more relaxed. Every other thing we do is business, but the open house is more relaxed.
More like an end of the year party.
Yes, it's just more bougie and all of that. But those are the initiatives that we have, and I mean, we have partnerships with like other people, other agencies. We have partnership with Space, which is more of a branding agency. So people in our community get discounts for branding services. We have Bookings Africa, which is like a market space for creatives. We have Bilali, which is like an e-commerce, not e-commerce rather. It's more like an accounting platform for startups. So these are just the different initiatives that Lhaude has. I think the core of it all is just creating opportunities for fashion startups in Africa.
This is mind blowing. So there's so much to come, but we will take them when we return from this short break. This is Before 30. Welcome back, it's still Before 30, and here with me is Rhoda Aguonigho. She is a fashion creative and fashion consultant, a fashion entrepreneur, and she's doing so much with her organization, Lhaude Network. And we've been talking about her works and all that she's been doing to help fashion entrepreneurs in Nigeria and of course Africa at large. Forward. Let's talk about, before we delve a little bit, let's talk about some of the challenges that that you have faced with putting this together. I know that you have a team you work with.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges, putting all that you do together?
Okay, so I mean, the first one would be accessibility. I think it's a bit difficult as an organization, when you're not necessarily a fashion designer and all of those things, it's a bit difficult to get access. And for Lhaude, we're about creating opportunities, and creating opportunities means you are speaking with the people more at the top. I mean, it's more like you're a bridge. I see myself as a bridge, in the creative industry, and I see that as a bridge. So, but it's easier to get access to the people on the other side that you're creating opportunities for. But the people that you want to bring, I think one of the major issues we had was access. But I feel like beyond running Lhaude, I have a fashion career. So I mean, I work as a consultant, I work as a project manager in the creative industry. So I've worked on a lot of projects. I've worked in organizations. I mean, we used to work in the same organization. So having that career kind of helped me solve the access problem, because I realized that just on its own as an organization, nobody knows you, nobody knows me, nobody knows Lhaude. When you reach out to these people, and being allowed as a startup, we don't necessarily have the funding to say, okay, come, we're going to pay you this amount of money. It's more of we're trying to sell the story and what the people are trying to reach. So accessibility was a problem, but I would say that we've been finding our way around it, and the more I build networks in the industry, the more Lhaude gets all of that. I think another thing I would say would be funding, because when we started, I didn't have a clear-cut business model, because I didn't start it as a business. I started it more as a network. Let's just create opportunities. Let's help people. So there wasn't necessarily the business angle of it. So we weren't necessarily making money. And the most that we do would ask people to pay for events, but how much really can people pay, and how much it costs to put things together. So I think funding is actually a problem, funding for initiatives, funding to make things happen. And I mean, being honest, is still a challenge even now. It's just that it gets better. Now we have more of a business model, so there are services we offer that kind of like just brings in certain streams of income basically. But then it's still not as solid as it would require to run events and make initiatives happen. So funding is another thing, and even for like the big dream that we have. I mean, for Lhaude, one of our vision is to have a very standard fashion hub, physical hub in the center of Lagos, which is Ikeja. A standard physical hub that would have co-working space for creatives. It would have a production room. It would have a research room. Just a lot that we want to do with that hub. And for something like that, it requires a lot of money. So funding is another challenge that we've had. I would say another challenge would be a people challenge. There's a word I'm trying to look for. I can't remember it. People getting the right people on the team, getting people that believe in the vision, that are willing to run with it. Whether they get paid or not. Even some people, you pay some people to work with you and they're still not delivering. And I really believe that the creative industry is actually suffering from a people pandemic. To be honest, we
I
don't
think
have
that's true.
a lot of. If I'm being very honest, because one of the services that Lhaude offers is recruitment, and we recruit for fashion companies and agencies, and the standard of skill in industry is very poor.
Very poor.
Like, people come into the industry and think that it's a joke. Like, it's passion, it's by my feelings. It's a business. Like, people don't take it as serious as they will take working in a bank. And that is why sometimes it looks like the fashion industry is not taking it so serious. It's because of the people that we have in the industry. So there's also that people pandemic, and that's why I feel like education would help. When we have education, we have certain certifications and stands. For example, if you want to get a job, if you have a BSc, or there are some jobs that they tell you is MSc we want, but some job is a BSc. So I feel like the more we standardize our education and systems, it also cuts down on that people problem. But I'll tell you that's another challenge we've had over the years. Beyond funding, beyond access, it would be that people problem, getting people that are actually very committed and dedicated to the creative industry, people that are not just about money or just because I feel good or because the fashion industry is cool. Because a lot of people come and see the fashion industry as a cool place, like, oh, you look stylish. They see the influencers and they think that it's but it's more than that.
There's so much more.
The industry is a business. It's an industry that needs to grow. But see, I'm very passionate about this thing. I can go on and talk about it forever. But let me just leave it there. I'll leave those 3 challenges.
Amazing. Well, hopefully, it would get better.
Yes, it's getting better, I believe.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's now narrow this conversation down to the Nigerian youth. Of course, Before 30 is a platform where our aim is to inspire, to encourage, and, get other young people out there on their toes to, do beyond themselves. But there's this, thing I want to ask, because I've always asked everyone who comes on this show. There was a time our dear president said that Nigerian youths are lazy. I know that I'm trying to say now that maybe he didn't mean it the way we took it. But maybe he didn't mean it the way we took it. But in your opinion, what do you think of the Nigerian youth? Are we really lazy?
I feel like Nigerian youths are so resilient. We have such rich resources in our youth because we have people that are super creative, we have people that are super resilient, and that is why when these people get unplanted from this country and they go to other countries, you see them doing so amazing. Because naturally Nigerian youths are not lazy, they are very resilient. Look at a country like Nigeria. Let's be very honest, our parents' generation had it easier. I remember when I was in OAU, I would have lecturers that would say that in their days they had free lunch. Like they were like 2 in a room. When I was in OAU, in my 100 level, in the hostel, you are 18 in a room. You're 18. You're 18 in a room. You're going to classes and we are rushing for seats. And these people in their days, they were 4 in a room. You had people giving you food. But here you have nobody's giving you food, and your parents are trying their best to send you like the least that they can. But you see people working super hard to make things out of their lives. So I don't think the Nigerian youths are lazy. I feel like all across the world, if there's any set of people that are faced with the most limitations, faced with the most challenges, faced with a system that feels like it doesn't want you to grow, it's the Nigerian youth. And somehow we're still making it work. We're still known globally. We have look at different industries. We have youths from different industries that are doing amazing things globally. So to Mr. President, I don't think that statement was a very correct one. I don't think Nigerian youths are lazy. I don't think I am lazy. I don't think you are lazy.
I'm not
So I think we have more people who are resilient, hardworking, determined, trying to make something good and great out of their lives than we have of lazy people.
Amazing. We could continue this conversation, so much to talk about, and of course Rhoda is someone you can talk to and you are relaxed talking to her. Okay, yes, maybe a little bit personal now. You are how old? Because this is before 30 and it means we get to know how old you are.
I'm 23.
Okay, 23, amazing.
Yeah.
So, I know that of course, you've mentioned it earlier, we worked in the same company.
Yeah.
I know that when we were working there, I don't know if I should mention the name, but then when we were working together, you had several businesses. I know you were into hair.
Yeah, you remember.
I remember. The hardworking nature that you have. It's so much, really. It's so much. So I want to ask, what is? I know that you now run a fashion brand as well.
Yes.
Yes, and then there's just a lot that you're doing,
Yeah.
and sometimes I wonder, how does she get by all these things? What's the driving force for you?
Okay, the driving force. I feel like I would go. I would take it to a more spiritual angle. You know, in a sense that for me, I think one thing that pushes me the most is knowing that my life and everything that I do here, it's not necessarily for me. You know, I have a source, and my source directs everything that I do. And I feel like for the past, even more intentionally, for the past 3-4 years, you know, a lot of what I've been doing has been driven by, you know, my source, which is God. You know, I always say that I'm a very spirit-led person. At the beginning of this year, I had zero plans to start a business, like to start a fashion brand, or it wasn't. I didn't come into. I'm sorry, I'm going to break some people's table. I didn't have any 5 plans for the year 2021. You know, I came into the year very open. You know, more like, you know what, I'm not putting anything on this canvas. Let God paint whatever it is that He wants to paint on this canvas. And I think that was one of the best decisions I made coming into 2021, because coming into 2021, I launched a foundation for women and all people, more like a food bank. You know, Rollerball was launched, which is a fashion brand. You know, and it was off instructions. It was off the things that God laid in my heart and He told me to do. And you know, with everything, I've seen His hand. And even on days that I'm tired or weak and all of that, you know, God strengthens me. I know it might sound cliche, because I feel like we're in a generation that questions everything about the divine.
Yeah.
You know, it's a generation where they believe. I'm not trying to drag tables or break tables, but it's a generation where people believe in the universe, in my energy, in my zodiac sign, but you somehow don't believe in God. Make it make sense, you know. So for me, honestly, because and I'll be very vulnerable and honest, there was a time in my life where, like you said, I feel like I would say God has always given me that grace to be hardworking too. So there was a time in my life where I was really hardworking, and I always felt so tired. You know, I always felt so drained, and there'll be times that I'll take a pause and I'm like, what is the result of all of this work that I've put in? You know, but I started to see a difference when it just became yielded to God. I'm doing way more now than I've ever done in my entire life. Like, I don't want to listen out, but I'm doing way more. I'm running more organizations. I mean, there's Lhaude, there's Rollerball, there's Have Blooming Place, which is a community for women. There's Have Blooming Place Foundation, which is a foundation, which is like a food bank, and like we just help women and all of that. And then I'm currently working as a project assistant for Lagos Fashion Week. So like I still have a career that I'm running, you know. But I feel more strengthened, like I'm ready to do more. Just knowing that, you know, I'm doing all of this, it's my purpose, it's the thing that God has called me out to do. And He's giving me strength to do all of it. So I don't want to come and say that, oh, I have one routine, I wake up in the morning and I'm meditating, I'm jogging. So, honestly speaking, I don't do those things. And that is not how I get energy or strength or anything. You know, it really, first of all, comes from God. And I mean, there are other things. I mean, you have to read, you have to put in the work and all of those things. But first of all, it's really from the source for me. I don't know if I answered the question, if I just went off point.
That's super amazing. So let's, with all that you have said now, it's so clear that you can be in this industry, you can be in the fashion industry, and still have a relationship with God without compromise.
Yes.
I mean, because out there, a lot of people believe that, I mean, especially for you, who is a lady, oh, she's in the fashion business, so there's no spirituality, you know, it means that this is actually a lie. You can be very spiritual and then be in the fashion space and make a difference. Right?
Yes. In fact, I mean, I feel like we have to question some of these ideologies. Like, who told you that you can't be in the fashion industry and you can't be cool and be a spiritual person? Who told you that you can't look good, you know, wear nice clothes, use nice wigs and be a spiritual person? You know, there's just so many misconceptions that we create as, let's say as believers or as people, basically. You know, there's something called the mountains of the world. You know, the different mountains that control how the world operates. I mean, you have the mountain of finance, the mountain of government, the mountain of religion, the mountain of family. All of these pillars are how the world operates. You know, if you look at it from countries to countries, there are certain ways that things run, that power is ruled. There are different mountains of the world, and God is interested in every single one of these mountains. And the fashion mountain is one of those mountains. And you know, I feel like people don't understand that God is interested in the fashion mountain. If you don't mind me quoting the scripture,
please,
but in the book of Isaiah 2, scripture says that all the mountains will become the mountain of the Lord, and all the mountains include the mountain of fashion. If you look at the book of Proverbs 31, the Proverbs 31 woman, when you look at how she was described, you can tell that this woman was a stylish woman. Like, you hear her linear, you hear her, I'm like, no. So who told you that, you can be, that you can be spiritual, or for you to be spiritual, you don't have to be in the fashion industry or anything. God is very interested in the fashion mountain, and I just want to make this an open call, and I'm sorry that I'm doing this, but I feel like there's God carries such a burden for the mountain of fashion, and it's because there's so much. Fashion is lifestyle. Fashion is lifestyle. Because of the fashion mountain, people dictate how they live their life. People decide that, I want to look haute because they see people dressing haute and it looks good. So why wouldn't God be interested in the fashion mountain? And I feel like God is even calling for more people to come to the fashion mountain, because it's a lifestyle. Lifestyle is life. It's mindset. How people dress, how the industry works. God is so interested in it, and you can be cool. You can push a career in the industry. You can run a fashion brand that will be very chic, very classy, and still be a spiritual person. In fact, the Holy Spirit is the source of creativity. We look around and we see everything that God has made, and it's so beautiful. And the fashion industry is a creative industry. So make it make sense why this mountain is not a mountain that God should be in and God should be focused in and everything. I just feel like a lot of people come into the industry with a genuine desire from, it's God pushing them to come into the industry, but a lot of people actually miss it. A lot of people get lost in everything that happens in the industry, and I feel like it goes back to your identity. For any mountain or any industry that God has called you to be, if you're not solidified in your identity, you can come into that mountain and lose it and lose yourself, and that's what happens a lot. Because let me be very honest, the fashion mountain is very easy to get lost. It's very easy to come in and see things and feel like, for me to do these things and be these things or get into certain places, I have to be this way. I remember that I was still speaking to somebody recently that in 2017 was the first time ever that I interned at Lagos Fashion Week. And I remember that after the Fashion Week, I did the first time they say publicly, I stood on the runway and I was crying because I was so overwhelmed. I looked at the enormity of what Fashion Week was, and for anybody in fashion industry, Fashion Week is like the pinnacle. And I'm like, how am I ever going to achieve any of this? How am I ever going to know anybody that matters in this industry? Because at that time I was 19, I think, either 18 or 19, and I knew that I'm not in this industry to play small. I'm not in this industry to do small things. I'm in this industry to do big things. And for me to do big things, I have to clear with the major stakeholders. But I didn't know anybody in that circle, in that industry. I come from a family where if you say you're in fashion, it means you're a tailor. That's the kind of background I had. It means that you're a tailor, you're making clothes. They don't know anything that is stylist or you're a fashion executive, or it doesn't make any sense to them. So there was nobody that I can even say that, I can relate to this person. So I was so overwhelmed. But I look back, it's been 4 years now, and the connections I've built, that same Lagos Fashion Week that I was an intern and I didn't know anybody, I'm a project assistant for, I'm working on the core project team, So I feel like, I don't even know what brought me to that, but what I'm just saying is that you don't have to compromise. Yes, that's what I was going to. You don't have to compromise to grow in the industry. I don't know if I'm speaking to somebody that has been called to the fashion mountain, whether you're a designer, a stylist, or any young person that is just starting out in the industry and you feel like you have to be a part of certain cliques, a part of certain parties, a part of certain, you have to change your way, you have to change your orientation. It doesn't always have to be that. You can put in that work, and you have the grace of God working with you, the favor of God working with you. And this part that I'm talking about is the more difficult part, if I'm being honest. If you want to compromise, it's easier. It's easier, but there's no lasting impact. If you want lasting impact in the industry, then you know that I'm here to put in the work, and I'm here to build something that is transgenerational. I'm not building Lhaude because I want to be a popular person in the industry. I'm building Lhaude because I want to create opportunities. I'm building an organization that is transgenerational, so that in the years to come, the Nigerian industry would not be what it is right now. It would have grown in structure, in shape, and Lhaude would be a founding organization, that created a change in the industry, not just in Nigeria, but Africa and across the world, because Lhaude is going to be everywhere across the world soon. But Yeah, I think that's really it, you know. I think one thing that has helped me not, and it's not because there's not been temptation, so let me sound like I know I'm perfect, and no, it's not that. I mean, I've had so many moments where I lay down on my bed and I'm just like, God, why did you send me to this mountain? Like, I could very well be in another industry and I'll be making money right now, because, you know, the path that I'm taking is not an easy one in that sense, you know, but just really being grounded in what you're here for will help you not compromise. And even for people who might not be spiritual, you know, it's still the same thing. Why are you in the industry? You know, it will help you not compromise. You know, be grounded in your purpose for why you're here, the thing that you've come to do. You're a fashion designer. Why are you a fashion designer? Is it just because you want to make money? Or is there something that you're selling to the spirit of people, that people wear your outfit and, you know, there's a cloak of confidence that comes upon them, and all of these things are what really grounds your discipline in the industry, and it helps you stay on path, you know, and compromise is not an option when you know where you're going to and you know who sent you, you know, so.
Amazing. I think we would have more of this conversation with Rhoda on Before 30. Maybe we can tag that one something special for the creatives. It's been amazing having you. I mean, my head is full. Trust me, my head is full, and this conversation has been quite eye-opening.
Yeah.
It's been quite eye-opening. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so
for
much
me.
for coming. Thank you so much.
Me.
I mean, there's so much to ask you, but the time will not let us. So we'll have another time when we have Rhoda on this show. Once again, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having
and we wish you all the best, you know, with Lhaude's projects and everything. Thank you. I was going to say God bless you, but then yes.
God bless you.
Alright guys, there you have it. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. Subscribe for very much more impactful videos coming your way. And of course, drop your comments, make your recommendations, and share our videos. Thank you so much. We love you, and see you on our next episode. Bye. This is Before 30.